It's the Takeover. It's the Takeover right here on CBJ Radio. We're always bringing you the coolest artists on Wednesday nights, and tonight's no different. Chicago metal quartet Speedfreak. They just released their debut album called Fast Lane Living, along with a single and video for Doomsday Devices. Plus, the band just announced a huge tour opening for Texas Hippie Coalition. We're stoked to have guitarist Kevin Kelly from Speedfreak on the show. First, Kevin, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, Jeff, thanks for having me, man.
Reading your guys' bio, what a crazy journey for this band. First, you and Tom, the lead singer, started this thing in high school?
Yeah, we started jamming together in high school. God, yeah.
What was that, like 2006?
Yeah, it would have been 2005, 6, something like that. Yeah, holy shit. Yeah, we're really getting old, man. Yeah.
You're making me feel old. I know that. Were you guys friends? How did it happen?
We met because we were among that same group of kids who had long hair and wore band t-shirts and snuck out to smoke cigarettes. And so
yeah.
We'd see each other, around. I thought his name was Michael for like a year. And I think he thought my name was something else. And eventually we became buddies and, got to talking. And we figured out that we both obviously liked AC/DC and Kiss and the same bands and shit. So pretty soon after that, we started jamming.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then, what's even crazier is you guys got punched right in the face with COVID. Fast Lane Living, which you released a year ago, but this thing was recorded in 2019.
Yeah, man, that sucked. So we got in 2019. We got into the studio. We laid down the record. We filmed the music video that you're seeing for Doomsday. I think like February 2020, we had a big release planned. We were really starting to get somewhere. And then all of a sudden COVID happened, right? So we were out of commission for months. Everything shut down here in Chicago. And then right after that, our drummer broke his leg. It was like one thing after another. Like, holy shit, are we ever going to actually get this record out? Finally, we did. We had a great CD release party. It's out now. I'm really excited. So it's funny, like everybody's, congrats and all this stuff. But to me, it's like, I've been hearing these songs for years, man. Like,
well, yeah, you're probably sick of half of these songs.
We have played them a million times. I'm excited for the next record, but it's very cool that finally this thing we worked so hard on, people are digging. It's awesome. Yeah,
I saw a cool quote from you. It said, "This is our debut album, but it seems more like an anthology."
For real. Like some of these, yeah. And we've been together for a long time, right? So some of these songs we've been playing live for years. Yeah, but it's great to finally get this out, get it done. It feels really good.
Through the whole process, was there had to be a time when you're like, this is never fucking gonna work.
Oh, a couple times. Yeah. When COVID happened, right, nobody had any idea what was going to happen. It was, all these venues, places that we hang out in Chicago, are they going to close? Like, is this ever going to be, is it ever going to open up? And then, are we going to be one of those Zoom bands where you see like everybody in their house doing their own instrument? And like, I love the guys in the band, right? I spend all day at work on Zoom. I don't want to spend another, all night. But there was definitely a couple of times where I'm like, Jesus, like, yeah, what's going to happen? Am I getting my hand cut off? Like, It was like one thing after the other, but it was tough, man.
Well, what was other crazy is you guys lived in a house together from like 2014 to 2016.
Yeah, that Tom, our singer, always says it's like the best bad decision we ever made. Because at the time we were like we lived in the same neighborhood. We were all staying in separate apartments or whatever. And Tom actually found this house for rent, and it was like in Chicago. It's this weird, perfect situation where it was in an alcove or a cul-de-sac that backed up to the highway, right? So we could be as loud as we wanted all the time. You'd never hear anything. It's next to the highway.
Yeah.
And then the vacant business next door turned out to be a brewery.
Oh, nice.
So imagine there's 5 25-year-old guys living next to this brewery, man. Yeah.
Having a band in the living room. Yeah, it was a house party 24 hours a day.
It was wild. Motorcycles on the lawn, and like it was a lot of fun. I don't know that I could have done it for a single day longer than we did it. Like by the time that was over, I was so ready to be out of that house.
Well, that was my next question: is who left first? Did the lease come up? Did somebody say we got to end this before we die?
So, they tried to evict us out of that house like at least once, maybe twice, and it was like every month we'd have to write our checks and we'd put them in this envelope and I think leave them in the mailbox for the landlord or whatever. And then we played a show on Halloween once, and we came home and there was an eviction notice in the door. And so like, whatever. So like, we called her a couple days later, and they're like, you have this water bill for 50,000 gallons that you didn't pay, so we're going to evict you. So we call them, we're like, okay, we don't have a fucking Olympic swimming pool here. We didn't use 50,000 gallons of water, right? Like, yeah. And then B, it's the city of Chicago. We have a lake. The water's free, man. You don't pay for water here. So there's no fucking unpaid water bill. And then finally, they're like, oh, okay, whatever. I think it was actually because of the brewery next door, right? They were sucking up a bunch of water.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Vats. So I don't know if it was like the same water main or whatever, but yeah, man. And so with the lease, I think we signed a lease for a year. We renewed it the second year, and then there wasn't even any question of staying in the house. When the lease was up the second time, we were so ready to get out. They were ready to have us out. I think they actually tore that place down and built, some kind of fancy condo or something there now. But man, that was an era.
Oh, for sure. That had to be amazing. Probably have a lot of stories from there. You could write your own book on those 2 years. We're chatting with Kevin from Speedfreak. Go check him out there on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Bandcamp. They're everywhere. Fast Lane Living is the CD. It's out now. I saw where you said that you were starstruck once when you guys opened for Rex Brown's band from Pantera. What do you think about the Pantera reunion, or whatever the hell this thing is that's going on right now?
I mean, look, I love Pantera, right? Everybody loves Pantera. I get that there are people who feel that it's not authentic, that it's, Zakk Wylde and Charlie Benanante. I also get that people are fucking stoked to see Pantera, right? Like I don't know, 5-10 years ago, we saw Black Label SETI and Down come through Chicago. And so Zakk Wylde got on stage with Phil Anselmo and they played I'm Broken, right? So that was like the closest I've ever gotten to see Pantera live. So it's cool. I mean, it's a thing for people. And it's not like it's just, I don't know, man. Am I going to go see that show? Probably. I get the people that say it's not authentic. Of course it's not, right? There's no dime, there's no Vinny. But at the same time, like, I do believe that there's some aspect of truth that it's a tribute to the music as opposed to just some kind of a cash grab. Zakk Wylde, they were buddies. It's not like he's some guy. It's not like fucking there's two Queensryches or whatever where they're both touring under the same name. If that was the case, maybe I'd feel like it was a money thing. Well,
you being in Chicago, which is I finally am talking to a musician that likes sports. Kevin, you're a huge Bears fan. When this airs, tomorrow is the NFL draft. Your Bears traded down. Were you happy about that? I mean, you probably. What do you think is the biggest need for the Bears?
Okay. So I mean, first of all, right here, I got my Bears hat always. But so I think Justin Fields is the guy. I think he's the real deal. I think it's happy they traded down and you got the extra first round pick. You got to go offensive line, right? You got to build from the trenches as God intended. There's Peter Skoronski went to my high school. He's a popular name on the draft boards. There's the kid from Ohio State. You got Darnell Wright from Tennessee. I don't care which one of those guys it is. I just want a big, fucking mean 300-pound offensive lineman blocking guys who are trying to kill Justin Fields. That's what the Bears need.
Yeah. Justin Fields took a beating last year. He definitely needs some protection.
Yeah.
I mean, have you been, I imagine you've been to some Bears games.
Oh, yeah.
Well, what was kind of cool, though, is when you guys lived in the house, you actually, celebrated on Sundays to watch the games. Are the rest of the guys Bears fans?
Yeah, so not Dave, but the drummer we had before that, huge Bears fan. Tom's a sports guy. Tom and I have gone to a couple of Bears games together. We had tailgate and all that. So that was always fun, right? Like, you party on Saturday night, we play a gig or whatever. The next morning, everybody's hungover, and we all kind of fire up the grill, turn on the TV, watch the games. Yeah, it was fun. It was a good time in my life. Yeah. In fact, the one year, I think the draft was actually in Chicago, so we went down and got to see. They drafted that wide receiver who was made of glass, Kevin White. Yeah, but I mean, it was fun, right? It was a nice break from doing music stuff all the time. I mean, it was cool.
Because Chicago, I interviewed Dust Biters not too long ago, and they've been blowing up in Chicago. What's going on? I mean, the scene must be coming back.
Yeah, I grew up in Chicago, and I feel like there's always been this kind of underlying grittiness, right? Like it's always kind of been there, and sometimes it comes and goes. But I feel like, lately, like you said, maybe it's just because everybody's excited about it again, because the Chicago was shut down during the pandemic. I know there was places that kind of stayed open, but in our and Chicago was shut down, right? So I think once it opened up again, that year or whatever it was that we didn't have all this stuff, I think people are going to shows again. People are excited. It's a cool time to be part of it for sure.
Well, and people are pissed. The media is just throwing Chicago under the bus and driving over you guys back and forth over and over and over. You're there, Kevin, to give us what's really going on in Chicago.
It's not, yeah. So, you turn on the TV and they portray Chicago. It's like a war zone. It's not that at all. Chicago's a fucking great city, right? I live in a great city. Is there crime? Sure. There's crime every place that you have a bunch of people in the same spot. There's crime in New York and LA. There's probably crime where you're at in Montana. I mean, shit, right? Like, so to pretend that it's worse here than any place else isn't true. It pisses me off. Chicago's a great city, man. Got the best food, got the best sports. Can't go wrong.
We're talking with Kevin from Speedfreak. Go check them out. They're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. They're everywhere. Their video for Doomsday Devices is out now. Let's talk about that video for a second because you mentioned it. You guys shot it, a few years, forever ago. It comes.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry. I was going to say we shot it, I think, the last weekend in February 2020. I think we shot it like on a Saturday, and maybe that next week or 2 weeks later is when fucking world shut down. The guy who shot it, Zane Rarick, is a really good buddy of ours. He actually, he does a lot of film stuff. I think he won some awards for it. And so I didn't really get to see it. We shot it all, and then months went by, whatever. And then I get the finished product. He emails it over. I'm like, this is hilarious, man. This is awesome. So that was a lot of fun to do.
Yeah, well, and it's cool you mentioned it. I mean, obviously, he went and sent it out everywhere because you don't have any clue what awards you won, but you won best video in Australia or something crazy.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, he's a big film festival guy. So I mean, fuck yeah, I'm glad he won some stuff with it. I was happy to do it.
Yeah. When did Tom cut his hair? Was it in 2020? Was it during the pandemic? When was it?
Maybe right before that.
Okay.
Yeah, because for a very long time, we all had really long hair. And I think it would have been 2018, 2019, 2020. We all cut our hair at some point or the other. I know some of us are losing the follicle fight up top. So you gotta just embrace the baldness. Maybe it was work. Maybe it was work why he cut his hair. I don't quite remember. I know his, and then he had that sweet mullet for a while.
Yeah, the mullet was great.
I do miss the long hair, man. I really do.
Yeah, now you just get the beard. The beard just gets longer. That's what it is.
Yeah. And but you can't headbang a beard, right? It's not quite the same thing.
No, it's not as cool.
Yeah, I see myself in the mirror and I was like, Jesus, this guy losing his hair. Fuck, But well, if I could pull off the long hair, still I would. But it's
not happening right now unless you get some help from something, some
I gotta get
product.
To the store. Yeah, like Brian Urlacher on those billboards.
You opened for what? D. Snyder? What in 2017?
So we didn't open for him. We did a battle of the bands. He judged it.
Oh, okay.
And we were a finalist. So it was us and this other band, and we both got to play for this panel of judges. It was D. Snyder. It was Johnny K, who produced a bunch of great records, and it was I think Chip from Enough's Enough, and maybe there was one more dude. Yeah, and that was D. Snyder. That was awesome. I mean, if the Rex Brown thing hadn't happened, that would have been my next starstruck moment. To play on stage and then to have D. Snyder up there, complimenting your band. Shit, dude. It was great.
Well, yeah, because in all your guys' press, it's, the comments from D. Snyder, how much you guys kick ass. I mean, that's sweet.
Yeah. Well, we still lost. We didn't win that battle.
He loved you, but I guess you didn't win over everybody except just D.
I guess
maybe.
Not. The other band, I wish I could tell you the other band's name, and then right after they won it, they changed their name to something completely different. So it was they had this stuff kind of built up, and then all of a sudden you kind of stopped hearing about them, and I have no idea what they're called now. They were cool guys. We hung with them backstage. I was happy when they won. They put on a good show, but I can't for the life of me remember what they were called or what they're called now.
Yeah, and then just to confuse you worse by changing the name. It's like, what the shit, guys?
Yeah. Why would you do that now, right?
Yeah. You have some momentum. Use it, whether you hate the name or not. I mean, what the fuck? Well, I mean, just this week, huge announcement. You guys got to be stoked. You're opening. You're hitting the road and opening for Texas Hippie Coalition.
Yes, very, very excited. 10, 15 years ago, we drove out, we would drive when they'd come through Chicago, go see them. We love Texas Hippie Coalition. We got to open for them quite a while ago. They came through town. We're really excited about that. When that started to come together, I was like, when we first got all right, this might actually happen. That was very, very exciting. So we're going to be hitting the road with them in August. We're going out to Seattle and back, or Linwood and back, I think, which is right suburb of Seattle. Never been out that way.
Yeah.
Very, very excited for that, though.
Yeah,
it'll be a lot of fun.
They're going to be, if you're listening in our area, they're going to be in Billings, Montana at the Pub Station, which is totally kick-ass. Well, you just answered my question. You guys have never been out here or anywhere west?
No, we've done some Midwest stuff here and there, but no, we've never been out that way. So we're really, really stoked. I hear it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's totally different than Chicago. So you're gonna see a lot of shit you've never seen. I mean, how stoked are you, Kevin? Finally, after years of fucking going through all this, it's finally coming together. You're with Pavement. You're hitting the road. The album's out. You're getting traction. Shit's happening.
Like it's and it's all within the last, I don't know, a couple months. So like, sometimes I have this like, holy shit, I've been wanting this since I was 14 years old, right? Like, this is so cool. It's really exciting, and it's such a cool feeling to like have other people enjoy it also, right? Because the whole thing is it's supposed to be fun, right? You play for you don't play it for anybody else, and so to like finally put this record out and have people digging it and have stuff happen for us, it's a fucking great feeling, man. Yeah. I'm just trying to enjoy it.
Soak it in as much as you can, especially after all the pain and suffering that so many bands have went through during COVID. And you guys suffered some of the worst. I mean, there was a lot of you that suffered, but yeah, you guys suffered a lot. It's tough. Doomsday Devices, one of the last songs written for the album. What were you thinking? What's going on?
I want to say that riff, the main riff, our bass player wrote, or like it was kind of noodling with. And that one, I feel like came together pretty quickly. It's one of those songs you kind of jam on. It feels cool. And then Dave was the one who he's a great arranger when we write. But as far as lyrics, I know Quarter Life Crisis was kind of something it was a lyric that he had been kicking around for a long time. Just your midlife crisis, which is whatever. But we were talking about probably talking about partying in that house so much, quarter life crisis kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he came up with the lyrics pretty quickly. So that was a fun song to do. I like that song a lot.
We're going to play it and go and check them out. Follow them, like them, love them. Go check out the album Fastlane Living. It's out now. Here is Doomsday Devices. Kevin, thanks so much, and we'll see you this summer in Billings, Montana.
Yeah, man. Jeff, thanks for having me. I hope you guys can all make it to that Pub Station show. Looking forward to seeing you.
Awesome. Here it is, Doomsday Devices. It's Speedfreak. It's a takeover at cbjradio.com.